Hello, I'm Andy, and I'm going to talk to you today about moles on the palms. Moles can be dark black dots, or they can be red dots as well. And if they appear exactly on certain lines or on lines or close to the lines, then there is not a good thing but a problem. So the image you are seeing in front of you, I've drawn three lines in red, and these lines are called the lines of Jupiter, and they normally start from about the lifeline, which is the line B, or sometimes higher up in these three forms I've shown you. And so I've drawn red dots and black dots on these lines. Now, if you have these lines in the first place, and then if you have red dots or black dots, these are moles, and they are not a good sign. Now, firstly, the length of the Jupiter lines which I've drawn in red are an issue. If they are short lines, they normally mean that success comes later in life. If they are long lines, like starting even from the line of life, which I've marked as B, then earlier success and earlier possibilities of doing well in studies and everything will be seen. Now, what do the moles mean? Firstly, let's talk of the black moles. Now, black moles can mean trouble from government departments, difficulties with the government itself, trouble in areas of the law, and also you can have a lot of trouble with your exposure of name. So you have to be careful that you have to protect yourself in many ways if you have these moles on these lines. Now, if you have islands or breaks of these lines, it becomes worse. It means that these moles are going to take a very bad effect on you in any three areas of your life, whether it's business, whether it's career, whether it's love affairs, whether it's marriage, or whether it's health. Every line covers all aspects. It doesn't mean that the line of Jupiter is only got to do with your line of business, because it's a business-orientated planet, basically. So, now I want to talk to you about the finger. Now, these lines are drawn under the index finger, the finger that's next to your thumb. And this is called the Jupiter finger. And so, Jupiter finger gets affected by these moles, whether red or whether dark. By the way, red moles are considered fever moles, and they have to do with inflammation of some kind, the mind, or whether you are inflamed about emotions, or whether you are health-wise inflamed. Okay? Now, the index finger is normally seen by palmists to indicate the possibility of greatness and bigness, because that's what this planet stands for. And so if you have lines of Jupiter lines in the first place, like I've drawn in red, then you are lucky to have these lines. But if you happen to have moles, whether black or whether red, then it becomes doubly dangerous for the Jupiter lines, where you can be persecuted or prosecuted. You can have your name attacked a lot, and business-wise you can have terrible times as well. The indications will be when the Jupiter line is measured and then indicated in terms of age. Alright, now let's talk of the possibilities of accidents. Now, when Jupiter lines have moles, the mind doesn't race to accidents. But accidents can come not only physical but verbal and by action. So these moles can make a person very demanding. They can make the person very strict. They can make a person tyrant. But the problem really is that if a person is like that, these moles show a terrible outcome from them, and you will suffer a lot if you behave that way. Accidents are also possible because people who have Jupiter lines are known to be very stubborn and to be very dominating. So being stubborn and dominating, you can attract opposition and a confrontation and thereby get accidents as well. Now, the best way to explain to you about these lines is to say if you have these lines, you are lucky. But if you have moles, they become extremely unlucky. Of course, if you didn't have these lines and there was moles there, it would be the mole on the Jupiter mount without the Jupiter lines, which is not so bad. But if you have moles on the Jupiter mount without having Jupiter lines. They can also mean attack on your name and reputation, downfalls in business which are very severe, and also some health issues. Now the health issues which are linked to Jupiter lines are firstly the heart and the liver. And in my experience, I'm going to include also the lower spine. So if you have these 3 lines or these, you may have only one Jupiter line, that's enough. I've just drawn 3 lines to give you examples of their length basically. So if you have a Jupiter line, you are going to have some problem of high cholesterol perhaps, working towards weakening your heart or your liver. And you may have a prone to accidents which basically would trouble your lower spine very much, or perhaps it's from the horoscope itself that you may have that. Well, it would be good for you to consult me. I'm charging USD 50 for a 90-minute consultation. And this 90-minute consultation will be based on your date of birth and your time of birth, and me looking at your palms as well, me face reading you while we Skype, and also using Kabbalistic Tarot if you want. And during this 90 minutes, I will concentrate on your next 5 or 6 years in life in all areas of your life. So do by all means go to Skype or to Facebook and send me a message, or send me a message on email, and let's get down to having a session. And if you have these lines with moles, I would just say be very cautious in the areas which I've told you. Until then, thank you and good luck.